The fog clung to Arlington like a shroud, swallowing the white headstones in a ghostly haze. Private Ethan Caldwell, a tomb guard, walked his 21 steps, boots clicking sharp against the stone, his breath catching in the cold. At 2 a.m., the cemetery was dead quiet until it wasn't. A figure flickered in the mist, a soldier in an old uniform, eyes hollow but burning, staring right at him. Ethan's heart slammed against his ribs. He wanted to shout, to break protocol, but tomb guards don't flinch. Then the soldier raised a hand, pointing to the shadows, and vanished. Ethan stood frozen, rifle heavy on his shoulder, the night pressing in. What no one told him, what the manuals never warned, was that the tomb doesn't just honor the dead, it calls them back. And this soldier had a story Ethan was about to learn, whether he was ready or not. Before we dive into this story, where are you watching from? Let us know in the comments. And if you believe that values like honor, courage, and sacrifice still matter, join us in keeping their legacy alive. The autumn night hung heavy over Arlington National Cemetery, a blanket of fog curling through the rows of white headstones. At the tomb of the unknown soldier, the air was still, broken only by the rhythmic click of boots against stone. 21 steps, pause. Turn. 21 steps again. Private Ethan Caldwell, a tomb guard of the 3rd Infantry Regiment, moved with precision, his M14 rifle resting on his shoulder, his face a mask of discipline under the gem glow of the monument's lights. At 24, Ethan was new to the old guard, 6 months into the honor of guarding the tomb. But tonight, his first solo night shift, something felt off. The fog thickened, swirling like a living thing. Ethan kept his eyes forward, focusing on the cadence of his steps, but a chill crept up his spine. Out of the corner of his eye, beyond the chain-link barrier, he saw it. A figure. A soldier dressed in an old uniform, olive drab, like something from a history book. The figure stood motionless, barely visible in the mist. Ethan's heart skipped. He didn't break stride, didn't turn his head. Tomb guards don't flinch. But when he reached the end of his walk and glanced back, the figure was gone. Just the fog, he told himself. Just the damn fog and a long night. He tightened his grip on his rifle and kept moving. 21 steps, pause, turn. The next night, it happened again. Same time, around 2 a.m. The soldier was there, closer now, near the edge of the plaza. Ethan caught more details this time. The faded chevrons of a private, a young face, maybe 19, pale as the marble around them. The soldier's eyes locked on Ethan's, not menacing, but pleading, like he needed something Ethan couldn't name. Ethan's heart hitched. He wanted to call out, to demand who was there, but his training held him in check. When he blinked, the figure dissolved into the mist. By the 3rd night, Ethan was rattled. He stood in the guard shack before his shift, checking his uniform in the small mirror, his hands trembling slightly. Sergeant Maria Torres, his squad leader, leaned against the doorframe, her arms crossed. Maria was 32, tough as nails, with a nonsense stare that could make a recruit sweat. "You look like you saw a ghost, Caldwell," she said, her voice dry. Ethan forced a laugh. "Maybe I did. You ever see anything weird out there at night?" Maria raised an eyebrow. "Arlington's got stories. Old guards talk about shadows, whispers, soldiers who don't belong. Comes with the territory. You're not cracking, are you?" "No, ma'am," Ethan said quickly. "Just tired." She studied him, then softened. "Look, kid, the tomb's sacred. You're guarding more than stone. Those unknowns, they're real people with stories nobody knows. Maybe they're restless, or maybe you need more sleep. Either way, keep your head on straight." Ethan nodded, but her words stuck with him as he stepped out into the cold. That night, the soldier appeared again, closer than ever, standing just beyond the chains. Ethan's pulse raced. The figure raised a hand, pointing toward a row of headstones in the distance, then vanished. Ethan stood frozen at the end of his walk, staring into the dark. "What do you want?" he whispered, his voice barely audible. The next morning, Ethan couldn't shake it. He sat in the barracks, scrolling through his phone, searching for anything about the tomb. The internet was full of facts. The tomb held remains from World War I, World War II, Korea, Vietnam, soldiers whose names were lost to time. Thousands of them buried across Arlington, their stories gone. Ethan's eyes lingered on a photo of a World War I doughboy, the same olive drab uniform, the same haunted look. His stomach twisted. He called his grandfather, George Caldwell, a retired World War II vet who lived in a small town an hour from D.C. George's voice crackled through the phone, warm but weathered. "What's eatin' you, son?" George asked. Ethan hesitated, then spilled at the figure, the pointing, the feeling he was being watched. "Grandpa, am I losing it, or is this real?" George was quiet for a moment. "Back in '44, in France, I saw things. Shadows in the trenches. Men who weren't there. My buddy swore he saw his brother killed a year before standing at the edge of camp. War leaves echoes. Ethan, those boys at Arlington, the unknowns, they don't rest easy if no one remembers them. If this soldier's showing himself to you, maybe he's asking you to listen." "Listen to what?" Ethan asked. "To his story," George said. "Find out who he is. Give him a name." Ethan hung up, his mind racing. That night, he stepped onto the plaza with a new resolve. The fog was lighter, the stars sharp above. He walked his 21 steps, but this time, when the soldier appeared, Ethan didn't look away. "You want me to know something, don't you?" he said softly. "I'm here. Show me." The soldier didn't move, but his eyes held Ethan's, and for a moment, the world shifted. Ethan saw flashes, a muddy trench, the crack of artillery, a young man clutching a letter, blood soaking his uniform. Then it was gone, and Ethan was back on the plaza, gasping. The soldier pointed again, toward the headstones, then vanished. Ethan started digging. Between shifts, he pored over Arlington's archives, old military records, anything he could access. He found a mention of a World War I soldier buried as an unknown with a scrap of paper found in his pocket. Will, Pennsylvania, 19. No last name, no unit, just a kid who died in the Meuse-Argonne, one of the bloodiest battles of the war. Ethan's chest tightened. "Was that you?" he whispered to the empty room. He started talking to the soldier during his shifts, not caring if it sounded crazy. "Hey, Will, if that's your name. I'm Ethan. I'm from Ohio. My dad was in Iraq. Doesn't talk much about it. I joined up to make him proud, but sometimes I wonder if I'm cut out for this." He paused, half expectant.